Welcome to PGA Frisco and the T5G Rain Show live from the PGA Championship. Thanks to our friends at T-Mobile. And what a show we have ahead of you. Come on into the studios here at PGA Frisco. This is Abby Parsons. She is the main cog to the operation. Abby Parsons, a PGA of America golf professional. She's going to be giving instruction today during the show, trying to instruct a guy like me, your host, Jordan Cornette. A 15 index, much like all of you out there, just trying to figure out this complex but beautiful game of golf and a beautiful week we have in front of us at Valhalla ahead of the 106th PGA Championship. And what makes this show, beyond just having Abby here, so special is we have some serious star power. And people are probably thinking, well, how do you have these stars? They're one sleep away from the PGA Championship in Valhalla. Doesn't matter. We've got the access. Max Homa, 6-time tour winner. Tony Finau, 6-time tour winner. And a major champion and 3-time tour winner in Wyndham Clark, who won in 2023 the U.S. Open out at LA Country Club. And they're going to be dialed on the driving range, hitting balls, you asking instructional questions, them giving us some of the tips and what makes them so special, and me attempting to get to know these stars a little bit more. And let me tell you, you don't get that on any show. We've done a lot of these types of shows. This one is truly unique, and I think maybe Abby, the biggest star of it all, PGA Frisco. I mean, are you kidding me with this place?
Oh my gosh, what a crazy honor it is to be here at the new home of the PGA of America. This place is absolutely insane. The state-of-the-art coaching center powered by T-Mobile's 5G network is unreal. On top of that, there's an indoor sand trap. I love a beach day, but never inside. I haven't experienced that until recently. And take a look at this.
Well, I think you love the beach day because you know how to get out of them. With your instruction and a lot of time, I slowly started to figure it out. One thing I certainly figured out is the partnership between T-Mobile and PGA of America is a sublime one. They are driving innovation in golf, and they are doing it at the highest order. And this is coming to life in the state-of-the-art PGA of America Coaching Center, powered by T-Mobile. Technology here at PGA Frisco being built out with an eye toward the future and the intent of working together to figure out how 5G can unlock new tech in golf as he creates wireless freedom and puts even more power in coaches and players' mobile devices. Are you kidding me? They have it all here.
They have it all. They have everything here. What a great place to learn golf and a great place to get better at the game. They have all the technology you need, and what a cool environment.
Well, you do say it equips you to get better at the game, and I mentioned reluctantly that I am that 15 index trying to figure it out. But I'll tell you, when I came off the putting surface with all the innovation in there, I was at a place where I was like, I can't miss a putt, and I didn't miss one putt all day yesterday.
Well, I mean, I remember that experience a little bit differently.
What are you talking about?
I think I saw you miss a couple. Oh, good. It's on. We can watch
okay.
it.
So
Run the
you
tapes.
and Sammy, our producer, are pulling. Okay, so I missed one putt.
Was it one or was it? Oh, good. They have the second one. How lovely is that?
Okay, maybe it was 2 putts.
Oh, yeah. See, it's about speed and read, and I think you were maybe focusing on one more than the other in that moment, which is okay. You're human. But you learned your mistakes there, and you could take that to the golf course.
Thought we were friends. I was about to celebrate this pairing we have here for the show, but I'm starting to second guess my decision, and it's going to be a long round today, apparently, if you're taking shots like this. Look, I'm getting better. We can agree upon that. We'll show you exactly how with some video and more instruction coming up later in the show. But you know what I always love ahead of majors, ahead of something like the PGA Championship, which, by the way, boasts the most impressive field you'll find in any event in all of golf. I mean, every top 100 player in this field for the 106th PGA Championship and 21 PGA of America golf professionals. And some might say, what do you mean, not 20? Remember Michael Block, 2023, and what he did finishing top 15 put him in position to automatically qualify, which opened up another spot to have 21 of them. So this field is as impressive as it gets anywhere, which makes it a little bit more difficult, Abby, to pick or project a winner. Who do you think comes out on top come Sunday?
I mean, it's so hard not to look at Rory McIlroy. After his week at Quail Hollow, it feels like history might be repeating itself a little bit. I mean, he did win 10 years ago here. He's an incredible golfer, and I think it's that time for him to get that next major. It's been a while, so he's definitely one of my picks. On top of that, Max Homa.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Max Homa, he's so steady. I feel like he really thrives under pressure as he's gotten better and on tour, and I think it would be crazy not to pick him after seeing something as simple as making that short putt at the Ryder Cup. I was shaking watching that. I don't know how he did it, but I think it's finally time for him to get his first major championship.
Jordan Cornette checks notes, and Abby makes no mention of Scotty Scheffler with what he's done to start this season. 4 out of 5 events he's come out on top, and without missing one putt, he maybe extends that out on Sunday and wins a 5th tournament.
I don't know, he's distracted. He just had a kid.
Yeah.
He just had a child. We've seen Scotty. He's an emotional guy. I think he might be thinking about that when he's on the golf course.
I think we have seen Scotty, because we have seen Scotty. I'm picking Scotty Scheffler to be the guy. If not Scotty, I do believe Wyndham Clark. With what I saw in Harbor Town, a T3 finish there, and I know these last few events haven't been exemplary moments for him, but look, I got married on the 18th fairway there at Harbor Town, so it's an emotional pick, but I also love his disposition. I think Wyndham, having had a few forgettable moments these last few events, he is primed and ready to deliver there in Louisville, Kentucky. A very impressive field. You can't go wrong with picking any of the 156, including our PGA of America golf professionals, because why not? They're in the field.
My people. I love that. I love seeing, the PGA of America golf professionals tee it up with the greatest golfers in the world right now. I mean, such a cool opportunity. I will never forget watching Michael Block and what he did last year.
Well, I hope they have good insurance here at PGA Frisco, because they have good everything. And the reason why I say that is because I'm being told, Abby, you're going to run through a wall when you see this hype video of what we have in front of us in Valhalla for the PGA Championship. You don't believe me? Take a look and watch for the walls.
Oh, God.
Out here.
Hello to all my friends in Louisville, Kentucky. My greatness came and started in Louisville, Kentucky, and that's one of the greatest cities of the world. Louisville is the greatest.
Tiger Woods goes broken.
We have a shining star at sunset. Rory continues his run to greatness.
I'm just so happy right now.
There's your champion.
I think I showed a lot of guts like that today to get this job done. This is probably one of the greatest duels I've ever had in my life.
The 106th PGA Championship, and from those moments you could tell some legends have delivered, some guys have become stars with their performances there. This guy has 6 majors under his belt. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a 2-time PGA champion. Remember that magic he captured in Kiawah Island in 21, becoming the oldest to win a major. You got to consider lefty a little bit, because you never know.
I know, you never know. And that experience in 21 at Kiawah Island, seeing that win, somebody that age, it made you think maybe he could do it again. He's always somebody to think about in major championships, and from one lefty to another, I love watching this guy swing the golf club.
For the first time, Abby, at the PGA Championship, the T5 range stacked with wireless 5G cameras, views made possible with T-Mobile for Business advanced 5G solutions. Every camera angle, Abby, you can truly think of. The drone cam, the down-the-line cam, the rover cam, the frickin' you name it cam. We have you covered here. It's about the access, but it's also about the access with stars we're talking to, but the ability to view things that typically a spectator or a fan of the sport simply ain't getting. T-Mobile is delivering here.
Absolutely. And when I go and spectate a golf championship like this, I do go to the driving range. I love watching these guys. And so the footage that T-Mobile is providing us right now is incredible. Seeing Phil Mickelson warm up is definitely something special.
And I would say maybe one of the advantages for a guy like Phil is, given the length of his career, he's seen Valhalla before. The 3 stars we're talking to in Tony, Max, and Wyndham, despite how talented they are and faces of the sport, this will be the first time they played competitive golf here, and I believe it might be the first time they've seen the course. So there is a decided advantage in that regard for guys like Phil. Phil by no means a favorite. It would shock a lot of people if he's in contention on Sunday, but I do think familiarity with the course obviously matters.
Absolutely, and just his experience in major championships. People weren't really expecting Phil to do as well coming into the majors, but I won't forget the Masters last year. He showed up and he got second. He did incredible, and there's always that opportunity that he can do that again here.
Yeah, I'm always curious because, again, you're the gifted golfer. You're the nearly scratch golfer. You're the one who's got the game. I'm the guy trying to figure out, reluctantly mention I'm a 15 index, but I probably speak for, so I like to think of myself a man of the people, for a lot of women and men out there who are like, I can relate. I too am that 15 handicap or higher. So when I watch these events, I'm trying to figure out, can I really garner something from the elite of the elite? Can they make me better? I mean, they do things on a course I can only dream of. Shaping shots, for example. A stinger I would love to do. Can I watch these guys this week and become better?
I think there's always an opportunity to learn something from the best in the world. Now, you may not be hitting those shot shapes like they are out there, but there's definitely ways, even how they carry themselves from shot to shot. And if you look here, we have Jimmy Walker on the range, major champion as well. People haven't really talked about him much, but I truly believe that he's one of those steady golfers that he will come out of nowhere and just beat everybody. That's kind of how he came on tour, too.
6 PGA Tour wins, a championship to his name in 2016. A dangerous guy. And again, it goes back to the field, right? I mean, you've got 156 golfers out here. You've got the top 100 out there. You've got a lot of names to pick from. So a lot of people feel like this may be the attractive place to pick somebody who, I don't want to call Jimmy off the radar, but maybe not one of the guys with the shortest odds or one of the quote-unquote favorites.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his swing here, his tempo is amazing, and that's a really important thing that I want the people at home to take note of how these guys don't try to kill the ball. I mean, Jimmy Walker isn't a built guy by any means, but he hits the ball far, and it's because he knows how to use his golf swing. He knows how to use his body to get the ball where he wants it to go.
Yeah, I think Valhalla is one of those interesting places for the PGA Championship. And a lot of guys seeing it for the first time because, again, the event hasn't been there, the championship hasn't been there in a decade. But it's less strategy and more skill. I mean, you got to play your irons long. You got to get off the box clean and in the fairway. That's how you score here. So it's more about skill, focus, and precision because there's some thick stuff, there's some short greens here. It provides a dynamic challenge.
Absolutely, and I think there's a lot of, especially tee shots and approach shots on this golf course that are intimidating. They're scary to look at, and these guys know where they need to land the golf ball. So it's very important that you can see how when they go out there, they know they can hit it far, but it's important to know where to not miss on Valhalla.
Yeah, I mean, for nerves, for a major, I mean, it has to be. Look, I get nervous going out there and playing with my buddy to see what my golf game is going to look like. Nerves are such a big part of the game because it's such a mental game. How do you combat that at any level playing this sport?
I think it's important to have your routine. And I think that's what a lot of players on tour rely on, is that they've been here before, they've done this before, and so they can't overthink things when they're out there. You have to stick to your routine shot to shot. For me personally, I try not to think about golf in between shots. You're out there for 18 holes, 4 hours plus, and it's really important that you keep your brain at ease. Your brain is exhausted after the round just as much as your body.
Well, one guy I'm excited to talk about, a guy you believe has a real shot, and I agree with you. You got the Cornet co-signature for what it's worth. Max Homa, a 6-time winner on the tour, seeking his first major with the golf he's playing right now. A lot of people believe this could be a pick. What I enjoy about Max is he's so willing to share. He's so willing to open himself up, make himself vulnerable. And I think in this sport, with the personalities out there, he's kind of one you gravitate towards because he's very vulnerable. He speaks to the journey, and it's been quite an incredible journey from him from when he first got his card in 2013, his first win in 2013, to where he is now. And again, playing some of his best golf.
Absolutely, and I think he's a little bit more relatable than we give him credit for. I know he's a PGA Tour player, but the way he handles himself, the way he jokes around with people, it shows the human in Max Homa, and he brings that to the golf course, and I think that's super admirable, and I'm rooting for him for sure.
Yeah, I got a real kick out of Max sharing his time with Tiger Woods, and he said one of the coolest things was when Tiger said to him, that's all you've won, which, are you kidding me, 6 tour wins is incredible. And Max said, when Tiger said I should win more, that gave me the belief to say, I can go out there and do more, because Tiger believes, and for what it's worth, if Max cares, we both believe this is going to be his weekend. So we're joined by Max now on the range. And Max, we're speaking glowingly of you. Everyone loves you. We are so appreciative of the time you're giving us on the range. And we talked about this earlier on, and I'm curious to hear from the star that you are, Max. First time playing Valhalla, and it happens to be for a PGA Championship. What goes into the thought of the lack of familiarity, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful golf course. It's big. The crowds have been amazing. Obviously, we've all seen this a bunch of times on TV. I think everybody watched Tiger and Bob May back in 2000. Saw, Rory, Phil, and Ricky go at it in 2014. We've had a Ryder Cup here, so it's pretty cool to get to play golf at, for a major championship at a venue like this that we all have fond memories watching.
Absolutely. And Max, your PGA coach, Mark Blackburn, what are you guys working on going into this major championship?
Not a ton different, which is always good. Made a big leap on the 2 weeks prior to, or 3 weeks prior to Augusta. So kind of just taking some of that. We've worked on some posture stuff, a lot of setup work, and then from there I can just kind of swing more how my body likes to swing, play a lot of cuts. Don't draw it very often. So just kind of getting back to the basics almost. So it hasn't been too technical. Been more so just focusing on prepping the golf course and figuring out what shots work where, and just getting comfortable as best we can.
Max, I was a basketball player coming up, played basketball at Notre Dame and almost got to the professional side of things. Didn't work out because of my knee. Story for another time that you don't care about right now. But what I do always am curious by is stars of your caliber routine. I had my own routine when I played ball. With you as you enter ahead of the PGA Championship, is there a routine that you stick to for every event that you take part in?
Yeah, you got to be a little bit flexible. You do. I wasn't typically planning to do, this the week of. But you try to be flexible. You see your schedule and try to do typically what you would any other week. So, the weather messed up yesterday for me a little bit, so I just use it as a practice day. But usually play 9 holes 3 times, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This week just played 9 Monday, back 9 today. And then, yeah, obviously going into tomorrow, I'll have the same schedule I always have. Show up, 2.5-ish hours before the round, eat something, get some stretching, light workout in, and then hit balls for an hour or so, and then head to the first tee and hope I start with a birdie.
Awesome.
Or an eagle. An eagle, like you did on Sunday. I mean, that was a pretty cool moment.
Or an eagle.
We love eagles. We love birdies. We love everything here. Max, we did a shoot together at DC Ranch when I worked there, and it was really cool to watch the dynamic between you and Mark. That day was freezing, by the way. I'm not sure if you remember that. But one thing that you guys really touched on was your wedge play and how incredible you are at your wedges. What is your approach to your wedge game at this major championship?
Yeah, unfortunately not going to hit a ton of them this week. The course is ridiculously long. If I do have to chip out, though, it's a nice thing to get to lean on, knowing that I'm comfortable, maybe getting up and down for par in this case. But I really work on just my flight. So, we use the launch monitors, and I try to launch my lob wedge between 26 degrees and 30 degrees. And when I do that, it tends to clean up my accuracy, and it also makes distance control a lot easier. So I do a lot of work with that, and then I use that also just to work on numbers. So I have like a handful of numbers I'm very comfortable with, and if I get 75 is a good number for me. If I have 71, I kind of work off of 75 instead of having a 71-yard wedge shot. So just kind of a lot of, I would say wedge work is probably the most substantial portion when I'm home. Just making sure that feels good, and yeah, I've been lucky now. I've gotten used to the technique part of it, so it's really just working on the numbers.
Max, one of the many things I appreciate about you is you're a glass half full kind of guy. You reek of optimism, and I feel like that fuels you on the golf course and why you're playing great golf. What is the genesis of that? Where does that come from?
Oh, it comes from the battle within. I am quite pessimistic at times, so I guess I'm very self-aware, so I know when I'm being pessimistic, and I know that that's not good. So it's just a lot of work. I mean, it's a ebb and flow each week, but I just have put put a bunch of attention to it in the last year and a half. Started working with Julie Elliott, my sports psychologist, and you know, she keeps me on top of it. So I'm starting to realize in my older age here that you know, you control the controllables, and your mind is something that you can really lean into and harness. Each week, it's harder to control how straight my driver is going to go at 100-something miles an hour. It's a lot more realistic to think I'm going to, you know, control what's going on between my ears. So just try to go about doing that and see if the golf follows.
The mental game is so important on the golf course, like you just spoke about. But when you're going into this beast of Valhalla, what do you think is going to be the most difficult part about this major championship course?
Yeah, it's a typical PGA Championship course in that you got to hit it really well. The tee ball seems to be the most important thing. If you get it in the fairway out here, as long as it's soft, so I still think you're going to be able to get quite a few birdie opportunities. If you're out of position off the tee, I think it's going to be quite a struggle. The rough's not crazy thick, but it's long enough, golf course and rough, to make it difficult to hit the ball anywhere near the pin. So I think it's really just going to test a lot of it off the tee, and then of course patience. You know, with majors over 72 holes, you're going to run into a rut, and I think a big part of these things is making sure that you limit the damage when it gets going sideways, and wait for it to kind of come back around. So, you know, I don't have a ton of experience in contention at majors, but that's what I've heard all the major championships say. So I'm just going to reiterate it.
Max, I love that you always have something thought-provoking to offer when you're talking to, dare I call us, the media here, and you've even delivered that in the moments that you've graciously given us on the range. And you delivered one of those again when asked about, somebody asked you to give advice there, the media in Valhalla, advice to Scotty Scheffler about becoming a father. You as a young father, you pour into family. That's a big part of your identity. And me as a young father, a father of three, it really resonated with me when you said dad's back is a real thing. I didn't get to hear a follow-up if there was one. And I kind of took that to mean a few different things, but I want to hear from you. What did you mean by dad's back? Because it really resonated with me.
Yeah, dad back is like an epidemic. When you have a little kid, you're bent over all the time, picking things up with one hand, bending down in an awkward position. It's tricky, so you got to be careful. I think most golfers have a bad back in general. We pick a terrible sport for your back, travel a lot, and swing a lot. So adding a kid in there, I'm very thankful he's starting to walk. However, bending over to hold his hand while he does is the cutest thing I do all day, but it's also not so good for the lower left part of my back. So something you gotta be aware of. But I wouldn't trade a good back for not getting to do it. So that's what I tell myself most days.
That's awesome. Incredible. It's so true, Abby. And Max, just wait. As they get bigger, and if you add more, the dad back becomes the worst thing. But again, with the kids, it's the best thing.
Oh yeah, I don't have to worry about that quite yet. I just pick up my cat every once in a while back home. But no, it's really important to learn about in the future for sure. But when you're on the golf course and you kind of have these body pains and whatnot, and when you're going into a major, like, is there any PT or anything before each round just to make sure you don't run into those tight back issues or the dad back that you like to talk about?
Yeah, great question. Every day before and after, and then I have a bit of a routine of stretching at home once I'm done. You know, with all that, because obviously there's quite a bit of time. Like today, I'll get home around 5, and quite a bit of time before I'm going to go to bed. So try to get some extra stretching in there. But yeah, we do a lot of PT work, and then I think a lot of it's just body awareness. You know, if I'm on the course and I notice something, you know, if my low left is usually where it goes, I kind of have swing cues to work around that. But that's all been built around, you know, my team kind of, you know, the smart people tell me what to do and helping me kind of. I have to recognize the limits first, and then after that kind of go what they've kind of told me to do when that happens.
Max, we're going to try and get greedy here, and by no means are we going to stretch this out. This is the last thing we got for you. We hear the 5G drone buzzing around behind us, and look, if we've got a chance to talk about one of the top stars in the game, yeah, let's pull out that stick, brother. Can you show us how you hit a stinger? That's one part of the many areas of my game I'm trying to figure out. Well, whatever you want to do. You're the bag of tricks there. You show us anything, we can glean some knowledge, my friend.
I'm going to try not to hit it, but also kind of almost hit it. Stinger's actually pretty easy. Most people's swing flaws, they swing way out to in. I actually think that's really good for a stinger. You want to be super steep. So setup cues is you get quite a bit closer to it than you normally would. So you're kind of on top of it a bit more. You're going to put the ball back in your stance so we can get as much shaft lean as humanly possible. I lost where my drone went, my target. That's all right. So you get it on top of it more, balls back more, and if anything, if I add one more thing, I typically like to keep my weight on my front foot. I don't want to get a lot of sway because I want no chance of me hitting up on the ball. I want to hit way down on it, and then you just kind of thump into the ground and hold the face best you can. So it's just a lot of lean. I would say that's the best technique to look into, is just having a lot of lean with the grip. Let's see if I don't mess this up. You hit it real low, fan a tiger, then you club twirl, something like that.
That's impressive. How about one more, Max, before we let you go, brother? Then we'll leave you be.
All right, I hit one more. It's an uphill range, so it can look extra cool if you pull it off.
Wow.
There you go.
Ooh, that was cool.
You nailed it.
Fun.
And that is why we have Max Homa winning his first major in Valhalla. No pressure, my friend. No pressure at all.
You're my pick, Max. You're my pick.
No
so
pressure,
just
no
remember
pressure.
that, okay?
Max, we appreciate
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you being
Thank you
so
very much.
gracious.
Thank you
best
guys
of luck.
That was so cool.
Come on.
That is awesome.
It's absolutely incredible. And you even got that authentic moment from Max where he goes, well, this isn't usually part of my routine. Yeah. I'm not usually talking to two randos in studio. I'm at PGA Frisco ahead of his pursuit of his first major, but that's what this show is, and that's what T-Mobile is providing here. This is incredible.
It is incredible. And the fact that he can just hit a stinger on command, that is a level of pro that we all want to strive to be one day. I mean, that is not an easy shot. I mean, a lot of people tend to go for the punch shot out there. The people at home, the stinger might be a little bit more complicated, but a beautiful, beautiful shot anyway. I do have to admit, I kind of ducked a little bit when I saw the ball coming at the drone. It did look like it was coming at us, but it was awesome.
The drone cam delivering T-Mobile 5G drone cam, and that's one of the really cool moments, and we still have more in front of us. We're still going to talk to Tony Finau. We're still going to talk to Wyndham Clark, and we mentioned those PGA of America golf professionals. The one at the top of the list right now, probably Michael Block with what he did a year ago in the PGA Championship.
Unreal. As a PGA golf professional myself, watching him, I have goosebumps thinking about it. When he made a hole-in-one on that last day, it was like the Cinderella story. I was crying in my golf shop. I was so happy just to get that representation of, yeah, we are behind the counter a lot. You know, we answer phones, we help run tournaments, but we're still pretty good at golf. And he's a great example of that, and he is somebody that I can't wait to watch.
What I always marvel in the sport of golf, which is different from, let's say, football or basketball or baseball, is the camaraderie. Like, you don't get walkthroughs. Aren't both teams out there before they compete against each other practicing together? I mean, you've got guys that are competitive, competing against each other for the big prize, and they're out there on the range chatting together, and we get a chance to talk to a few of them.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And the fact that the PGA Tour players are accepting Michael Block with open arms, having him play in practice rounds with them. He played a practice round with Phil Mickelson the other day. I bet that's something that Michael Block never thought he'd be able to do, but it's a great opportunity for this PGA golf professional, and I cannot wait to see what he does this week. I'm really hoping he shows up.
It's a really hard act to follow.
Oh my gosh.
Last year, I mean, I don't know if you ever get close to that again, but again, you never know in these moments, and that's what makes the week of majors so incredibly fun. Speaking of fun, I'm really excited to talk to Tony Finau here in just a moment. You know, I'm a 6'8" guy. He's not quite 6'8", he's 6'5", but he has that hooping background to him. Those are the type of swings I like to watch because we're similar in size. So trying to divulge a little bit of something, trying to take something from his action, his backstroke, and kind of apply it to my game. Those are the guys I try to apply my skill well below theirs and try and take from.
No, absolutely. I think Tony Finau, he is known for having one of the shorter swings in golf, but he's also known for hitting the ball further than most people. So it just goes to show that you don't have to have that excessive backswing, that aggressive tempo to hit the ball far.
Yeah, and a guy like Tony, I'm interested to ask him this. It'll be my first question, as a matter of fact. Same thing I asked Max. Like, the lack of familiarity with the course, because, again, it's been a decade since the PGA Championship was there. He's never played it. And to play it with what's at stake here and an opportunity for his first major, a guy who's been so impressive his entire career with 6 tour wins, I'm excited to see what his approach is, if it's different from other tracks and courses he's familiar with.
Absolutely, and he does show up in these majors too. He's always somebody that somebody picks. He's steady, he's great, and he's fun to watch.
He is fun to watch. I love his personality. He's great on social media. And he's a guy you expect to see on the weekend because 12 events he's played in this year, he's made the cut in 11 of them. So he's going to position himself for Saturday golf. And then from there, with that kind of talent, that kind of ability, especially if he gets that putter together, watch out. Tony can be the most dangerous person out here.
I would love for him to get his first major championship this week, and I think there's a lot of aspects of his game that people at home can take note of, like we were talking about earlier, and I can't wait to see it at Valhalla.
5-time PGA Tour winner Sam Brunn's out here. I mean, you're getting a look at everybody. I can't say enough about the access. I mean, I'm a spectator first. I'm a golf fan, and you watch a lot of this, and okay, we're giving you the range, but the angles we're giving you are uniquely different, provided by T-Mobile, powered by T-Mobile and 5G, but the access to talk to them. I mean, I've been bragging to my wife, my friends, my father's a massive golf guy, like, oh yeah, ho-hum, I'm talking to 3 of the brightest stars in the game while we're hanging out at PGA Frisco. I know you're being paid a lot for this, Abby. I do this for free, though. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm a head pro at a country club in Scottsdale. Who would have thought I would be here in Frisco watching guys like Sam Burns on the range and getting to speak to, like you said, 3 of the brightest stars on tour. I do think Sam Burns, there's a lot to learn from his game as well. He's kind of a little bit stealthy. People don't think about him too much, but when he's on the golf course, his presence is really, I feel, almost intimidating to watch him. He always has that insane focus that is needed on the tour, especially this week on the golf course for a major championship.
I love guys like Sam Burns who are proud collegiate golfers who've achieved. I mean, he's a national champion there, an LSU Tiger, one of those SEC country guys. And he's one of those names I think Sam's a guy to watch out for this week with his ball striking ability. He can be one of those dangerous guys. I mean, honestly, we could spend an hour picking names because it might end up being a name we don't pick with all the talent out there. 4th time the PGA Championship has been at Valhalla. Again, we go back to that field being the most impressive field of any event that you'll find in golf. It's going to be a total guessing game with who's going to have a chance come Sunday.
Absolutely. And you saw in that coverage from T-Mobile there on the range, Sam had like 4 or 5 people around him. It takes a village to get that first major championship. And I think that's really important for us to see that it's not just him on the range by himself. He relies on other people too. It is an individual sport, but he does take a lot of this advice into consideration when he's on the golf course, and I think that's really important for him.
And another thing that is going to be unique to the access we have here is, as you look at lefty again, Phil Mickelson, Hall of Famer, a guy who's done this twice, winning the PGA Championship. I'm going to have an opportunity to ask Tony what he's working on when he steps out here one sleep ahead of a PGA Championship in pursuit of his first major. I mean, this is a guy, like you said, he's flirted with these moments. Is this the week he breaks through? I mean, he's long off the tee. That's a big part of it here. Consistency off the tee, being good with your middle irons, being able to be one of those long players. That's what Tony is. And Tony puts it all together here, and it's fully within reach for him. I'm curious what he works on today on the range. I'm curious what a day like today means for these golfers as they prep themselves for all eyes on the sport with another major in the 106th PGA Championship in front of them.
Absolutely. Like you said, there's a lot of close calls for Tony Finau. It makes you wonder, like, is he going to change his approach? Is he learning from all of these close calls that he is going to do something a little bit different this week? I think that will be important to ask him as well. We're back to Phil on the driving range, the T5G range, and it is, like I said, watching this guy, I can watch him for hours. Just learning from his golf swing. I grew up admiring his golf swing as a lefty myself, and I think to this day, watching him around the green is awesome.
Speaking of awesome, the rich get richer for us over here in studio, being able to talk to one of the stars, one of the faces of the sport, 6-time tour winner, Tony Finau. And Tony, we really appreciate you taking the time ahead of the 106th PGA Championship to pipe some for us and talk a little bit with us here on the driving range. And feel free to go ahead and swing that club while we talk to you. This is super casual. And I want to start with one sleep ahead of the PGA Championship. What are you working on the range ahead of this major opportunity for you?
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm looking forward to another PGA Championship. It's a good golf course. It's a big golf course. It's going to play wet this week. I think, as we all know, with the conditions already, it's been a lot of rain, so golf course is going to play soft, which I think will allow me to kind of open up on my driver a little bit and give it a little extra. So I think, you know, you're mostly going to get carry numbers out here this week because the fairways just aren't bouncing. So driving is going to be a premium, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to another PGA Championship and an opportunity to win a Wanamaker Trophy. I've had a couple opportunities in the past, and so you know, hopefully this is the week I can put it together and have a major week.
You talk about your other opportunities in the past for PGA Championships. Are you doing anything this week to change your approach on the golf course?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to look for, you know, what have I learned in the past? How do I be at my best during major championship weeks? You know, I feel like I'm at a point in my career where major championships are truly what I'm after, and so yeah, you know, I think this week I have more of an emphasis on, you know, just being mentally prepared more than anything else. I feel like I've had the game to win some major championships and haven't been able to do it, and I think it's honestly comes to a point where sometimes it's just more mental than anything else, and so just trying to get my mindset in a place of, you know, I believe I can win, I'm ready to win, and just go out and do it.
Talking in Tony Finau's backswing is not something on my bucket list I thought I'd be able to check off. Yet here I am. This is incredible access, and Tony, we're so appreciative. You know, Tony, I'm a college hooper. Played at Notre Dame. Check the box for mentioning that a second time in the last 10 minutes. But I know you're a heck of a basketball player. Could have played in college if that was your pursuit. What I'm looking for here, Tony, is a little bit of advice for a guy who's trying to figure out his golf game. At 6'8", I'm a bigger guy. I know you're 6'5". What are the challenges presented to guys like us?
Yeah, we're further from the golf ball, so it just makes it a little bit harder. You know, my advice has always been for tall guys, learn how to stay in your posture. You know, I think everybody calls it something different. I've heard spine angle, all these things, but it's naturally for someone taller, it's easy for us to stand up through the shot, and I just see it every time I see somebody tall swing a golf club that's not a great player. They're always standing up through the hit and trying to, you know, jump at the golf ball. So I try to actually get shorter when I swing a golf club. You know, obviously you guys see me swing the club. I have a little bit more knee bend, I think, than most, and different things. But all I'm trying to do is just feel like I'm actually feeling a little bit shorter as I hit the golf ball. You know, like Lee Trevino is probably the greatest at it, where he really stays down through the shot. Dustin Johnson does a great job for somebody that's tall. You see him when he gets through, he's almost even lower than when he started as he swings the golf club. So I think those are some secrets that, you know, if tall guys can understand how to stay down through the shot, I think they can be a lot more consistent, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, and you mentioned your backswing. It is known for being on the shorter side, and so I do have to ask, what do you think that does to your consistency, and do you think that's something that people at home can learn from, that shorter golf swing is more helpful than you think?
Yeah, you know, swinging the golf club is all about sequencing. You know, I think if you understand how to sequence your lower body with a shorter backswing, I think it's very beneficial. You know, the further you take it back, the more things can go wrong if it's not in sequence anyway. So I've kind of learned how to do that. But I also learned, you know, for me, I have such long arms. You know, my reach is 6'9", so I'm 6'4", but my wingspan is 6'9". So even though I have a short backswing, the club travels a long ways from the golf ball. So even if I'm only taking it to here, which is about, you know, halfway, 3/4, the distance that the club is from the golf ball would still be further than a guy that's 5'10" taking it all the way back, if that makes any sense. So the anatomy of how I'm built allows me to not have to feel like I have to take a full backswing. And then I also take a nice lash at it. You know, I use my lower body and things, but I do think less can go wrong. You're only taking it back, you know, 3/4. No question about that.
As two tall guys, difference between me and Tony is Tony looks like he hasn't had a carb in about a decade, whereas I'm not only a tall guy, I'm a bigger guy. So maybe I need to get in that kind of shape first, Tony, and then I can do the things you're describing to us. That'll be a big part of it. Tony, I've seen you hoof a basketball. You got some bounce. You can dunk that thing. You got some ability. How would you describe your basketball game currently? What's it like? What are the strengths?
Yeah, well, I've always been a great shooter. Naturally, have great touch. I'm a great rebounder. My dad taught me how to move. I played post pretty much my whole life, so I know how to rebound the ball and get in position to rebound a basketball. I say I have pretty high IQ when it comes to playing basketball because I played it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I got a lot of good tangibles, and I can still dunk a basketball, no problem. A couple years ago, I had a video out there where I was, you know, I two-hand dunk, flat-footed under the basket.
Yep.
I don't think I can do that now, but I definitely could probably flat-footed dunk one-handed, and that's good enough. But yeah, no problem dunking, and I don't know how long it's gonna last because I don't hoop all the time. But I tell you what, you know, watching the NBA playoffs, and you know, NBA or basketball was my first love, so I love watching the NBA, watching, you know, some of these great athletes play. So, anyways, I love playing basketball, and it's something that I probably shouldn't do as much as I do. My manager wouldn't be very happy how often I probably am hooping, but
I think
gotta have fun, you know.
I think it's pretty clear that you're quite the athlete, and I do have to ask. I'm a daughter of a PGA of America golf professional. You know, I did the whole junior golf thing with the rides in the car after a tournament. How is it having your son pick up this passion for golf and PGA Junior League and watching him on the golf course? What is that like?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so fun. You know, being a dad of a son that loves golf and wants to follow in my footsteps. And I tell him, I said, you know, son, hey, don't try to follow me. Try to be better. So, you know, he absolutely loves it, and it's been organic. That's the cool thing is I haven't pushed him to play golf. He really looks up to me, and it's just a really cool feeling, a cool thing that he allows me to kind of coach him, and he trusts me enough at this age. He's only 12, so he trusts me enough right now to coach him, and you know, he thinks I know what I'm doing, I guess. So we'll see how long that lasts, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun that he loves the game and has fallen in love with the game that I love as well.
Tony, you had an opportunity recently, you and your wife at a Kelsey Brothers, I believe, golf event to meet Taylor Swift. And you said your wife was over the moon because she's a big Swiftie. I don't know if you're a big Swiftie. I don't peg you as one, but you never know because everyone loves Taylor Swift. But who is your choice for music as you're getting ready to chase your first major?
Yeah, I love that question. I love listening to reggae. There's some great Polynesian reggae artists, Fiji, Jasta Tofi. Those are a couple guys. If you haven't heard about them, look them up. Incredible reggae artists.
Writing it down.
I love reggae. I'm a pretty chill guy. Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously Bob Marley. Hip hop. You know, I listened to a lot of hip hop and rap growing up. So if I want to change tempo a little bit, I'll listen to something a little bit faster like that. But I mean, I really enjoy all types of music, but I'm listening to reggae most of the time.
That is awesome. I love hearing that. I feel like music can also help a lot of golfers with their tempo as well. And you've got beautiful tempo yourself. So I'm definitely going to start listening to a little bit more reggae now after this conversation. So hopefully that'll help my golf game. But we really do appreciate your time with us, Tony. This has been so cool.
It's been incredible, Tony. You're just a class act from the Tony Finau, where he now stuff. You handling that like an awesome guy. You can tell you're a chill dude, man. You just go with the flow. You're a heck of a golfer, and we're excited to see what's in front of you this week. We're obviously rooting for you. Very gracious of you to take the time on the driving range this afternoon.
Yeah, no, happy to be with you guys. Thank you.
That's Tony Finau. Again, not only do we pick some of the best golfers in the game, we pick some of the best guys in the game. I mean, gracious with their time, happy to answer questions, and we've been able to learn a little bit about these guys, both how they approach the game, but also life outside the game, which is refreshing.
Oh, it is so cool. We are getting this incredible access thanks to T-Mobile, but we are getting even better access into their lives, like we were just talking about, getting to talk about his son and their relationship on the golf course. And I learned more about his relationship with basketball as well.
Yeah, and I think that incorporates into his approach, right? He said he was a high IQ basketball player. He said he was a student of the game. He's a student of his golf game. He's very in tune with his body, and that's something as a new at the golf game, trying to get my number down. Being in tune with your body is a big part when you're taller. And the thing that really resonated with me, he said, get shorter. I would have never thought. I would think stand tall, use all that size, and I'm sure there's a mitigating circumstance between balancing both, but it's something that sticks with me. And he's a guy I watch a ton of. As you talk about seeing on the range, Phil Mickelson, you're a lefty, he's a lefty. That beautiful swing, that tempo. I watch a lot of what Tony does with his swing because how he manages that longer body. He's got a long wingspan. So do I. I can touch your right shoulder from here. I mean, I'm long. Like, that's a part of the game for people like me. So what an opportunity. I mean, I'm talking in the backswing of Tony Finau. Are you kidding me?
I know. I almost wanted to wait until he was done hitting because I didn't want to mess him up, but it's hard to mess up that consistency that he has. And a really big thing that he talked about in his golf swing, tall or short, sequencing. Sequencing is so important with your golf swing, making sure that you are taking the club back with your upper body and finishing it with your lower body that he was talking about. He uses the ground, he uses his lower body to get that power. He's like, I have a shorter swing, but I make sure that my lower body does a lot of work, which I think we can definitely touch on later for the people at home.
We're going to close our eyes, open them tomorrow, and watch this guy chase the championship. It's absolutely remarkable. Why don't we head back to the T5G range and look at the top tracer, which is powered by T-Mobile, and kind of get a look at what some of these guys are doing on the range and how they're preparing. I mean, pretty cool technology here, no question, Abby.
Oh, I could watch this for hours, truly. I love seeing the top tracer, seeing these guys shape their shots. The fact that you could just ask them to do a shot on command and they can do it is just incredible. So I think this golf course will definitely set up for a shot shaper. There's a lot to do out there. With fades and draws, I think more guys on the tour favor the fade, which is a good golf course for it. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and I do think as we go back to Tony, who we just had a chance to talk to, I mean, being one of the longer guys in golf and his ability to get off that box, he's top 20 in driving distance, and I believe it's 309 yards average. Like, he's a guy that's going to be in contention. It all goes back to Tony for me. What's he going to look like putting? If he is average there, guy's going to be in contention come Sunday because, again, he's making cuts. 12 events this year. He's made the cut in 11 of them. He's going to be in position, and with his ability, you never know.
Absolutely. And he did mention that he has learned from the past major championships and him being in contention. He's going to take that into this week, and I do hope that one of those things is putting. I think once he gets that ball rolling in the hole, he will be dangerous, like you said. And it's awesome to hear that somebody at his caliber, he learns from his mistakes, and he takes that into a major championship week here at Valhalla.
And these numbers you're seeing are Aaron Rye's numbers, 29 years old. Talented young man, and clearly numbers I would love to mimic as we take a look at the top tracer powered by T-Mobile. That's where the game has grown so much, and that's what's so cool being here at PGA Frisco, the partnership with T-Mobile. It's a sport where you can gather so much data, so many analytics powered by this one-of-a-kind unique technology that you can get better really quickly. If you're committed to it and you have access to things like this, it's golf nirvana. And so you're watching already the most talented. They're able to differentiate themselves from the laymen, if you will, as they really lean into it. But for me, this has been eye-opening. I mean, to have this kind of technology, these tools within reach, I mean, you can grow your game pretty quickly.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see in the top tracer the different heights that they're hitting on the driving range right now is pretty spectacular. Tony Finau mentioned that the course is wet. You know, he's not going to get a lot of roll, not going to get a lot of bounce, and I think that's something that these guys are definitely working on the driving range for sure as they prepare for this week. But no, I think something as simple as knowing how far you hit the ball is something that people don't really work on quite as much. When you're on the golf course, and if I'm giving a playing lesson and somebody asks, what club should I hit here? Well, I ask them, well, what club do you hit this distance? And this technology is definitely going to help golfers. Something as simple as that is knowing how far you hit the ball. Most people don't, believe it or not.
Well, when you talk about moments, I go back to 2000, and if you ever mention 2000, naturally Tiger Woods' name's going to come up. Why don't we recap that championship, a PGA Championship, Y2K, and the moments it provided? Let's take a look back. Let's rewind the clocks, if you will.
I've looked at the fact that I'm trying to win a PGA Championship and win a major. And this week, if I accomplish my goal, which is winning a PGA Championship, I will obviously tie Hogan with 3 majors in a year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2:30 starting time from Windermere, Florida, the 1999 and defending PGA champion, Tiger Woods.
I knew right off the bat Tiger was going to drive it a lot further than me. He was basically going to play a different golf course than I was going to play, so it made it really easy for me to say, you got yourself in this position with your game, just keep on playing.
May matched him, shot for shot, birdie for birdie.
Gonna be. Hold on. Oh, yes. Hold on. No, I don't believe it. Yes, you may. No. I've never seen the likes of it.
This Bob May will become arguably the biggest underdog winner in the history of this championship.
Oh. Just get up over the swell.
It's pretty good speed on by here, and he's got some really good speed on. How about this shot? How about this pair?
Tiger just looked over at him and said, "Great shot."
Tiger Woods on his birthday.
But it might catch the right ridge.
It is. He's in the Tiger zone. How do you make this one? How do you make it? How do you make it? Oh, what an effort.
The Wanamaker Trophy as our 2000 PGA champion. Congratulations.
This is probably one of the greatest duels I've ever had in my life. I've had a few. And, Bob, hats off to Bob because he plays hard out.
Hats off to Bob, but he ain't Tiger Woods. It's 90 degrees here in Frisco at PGA Frisco, again, Golf Nirvana. But I have goosebumps when I watch Tiger Woods deliver one of those iconic moments, the point at the putt after he sticks it. You love Bob May for giving it his best run, but there's only one Tiger Woods, and we find ourselves again bracing ourselves for the start of the 106th PGA Championship, hoping to see just some type of moment from the greatest to ever do it, alongside, of course, Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, absolutely. Any Tiger Woods highlight, I will always have goosebumps. And I love how when we were watching that clip, we both did the hand thing at the same time. He has so many iconic moments on the golf course. He did pretty well at the Masters making the cut, so I'm really hoping that we see that again this week at the PGA Championship.
That was Tiger winning a major, and talk about a rare opportunity. A guy who's won a major, one of his 3 tour wins. We're joined now by Wyndham Clark on the T5G range, and this is a big thing for me. You know, I had lunch. I'm not going to name drop here. I had lunch with his younger brother, Brendan, here in PGA Frisco earlier today. And I go, look, I know Brendan. Got to know him today. I don't know Wyndham, but I feel like I can call you Dub. Can I call you Dub, or is that too comfortable too soon?
Well, I mean, Dub is my nickname, and I prefer to be called Dub. Usually it's with people I know, but you know what? I'll let you call me Dub.
All right, since we broke through there on that threshold, let's talk about your breakthrough, 2023 LACC. And I mean breakthrough there. You obviously had a win prior to it at Quail Hollow, but that win at LACC, you win a major, it's life-changing. You position yourself for the Hall of Fame. You're just looked at different. How did your life change, Dub, after that first major win?
You know, I mean, anytime you win, I feel like there's kind of a few things on your career as a professional golfer. Your first PGA Tour win, which was huge for me, and then obviously the next stage is winning a major. And you know, winning the U.S. Open really changed the trajectory of my career. And you know, it's put me on shows like this with you fine folks to be able to tell people what I've done and what I do in my game. So it's been pretty amazing.
That is awesome. I had the honor to actually watch you at LACC win the U.S. Open, and one thing that I took away from your game is your tee-ball. Your driver is incredible. Obviously, you hit the ball far, but how do you get that distance in your golf swing? Is it using your lower body, the ground? How would you tell people at home to do this?
Well, I guess I'll take out my driver.
Yeah, please do. We're hoping for it.
So, yeah. Yeah, so I've kind of always had distance, which is I've just been very blessed with it. But I also work really hard in the gym, and I think, you know, for me, for anyone that's trying to gain distance, the biggest thing I think is first to do it in the gym. If you can gain speed in the gym and learn to swing fast, be fast, it just helps in, you know, when you get out and hit the golf ball. So that's kind of the first point. The second point is I do use the ground. So I'm not the biggest guy out here, but the thing that I do is I feel like I use the ground. And so I don't jump as much. You know, you someone like Justin Thomas that jumps, or even Bubba that jumps. I more turn and stay level in my feet, and I really use the rotary. You know, I played other sports, and so I like to turn like a top almost, and that's what helps me hit it pretty far. So I'm not the most warm, so I don't know what kind of speed we have, but here, I'll hit one for you guys.
Oh my! I don't know
that baby
what kind
scream.
That was actually not too bad.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad.
But as you can see, I kind of stay pretty level and on my feet, and I really try to use the ground to create my distance.
Yeah, I mean, that thing screamed off. I would love to do that just once in my lifetime as a golfer. And what I was starting to ask you was the unknown. I mean, much like what we talked about with Tony and Max, as great a golfers as you are, you haven't played Valhalla, and you certainly haven't played it with a major opportunity on the line. So with that lack of knowledge, what do you lean on? Because it's going to be different for you out there come tomorrow.
You know, the good thing is there's not many guys in this field that really have the knowledge of this course. I mean, that was about 10 years ago, and I'd say the guys that were competing and playing well in that tournament were are probably most likely in their 40s now. Obviously, Rory won at a young age here, but so that's one good thing for us. The other thing is we have such good caddies, and we know so much how to dissect a golf course that, you know, sometimes ignorance can be bliss, but yeah, I feel really comfortable out here. There's nothing tricky about Valhalla. It's a big yard. It's it's a lot of drivers, and you know the greens aren't. Actually, the greens are probably the most tricky part here. But honestly, I feel really confident with our strategy thus far, and I'm really looking forward to the week.
Talking about strategy, I know you have this play big mentality. Can you touch on that and explain to the people at home what that is and how you're going to use that this week?
Yeah, so play big is something, it's part of my story. It's really close to home for me as my mom was passing away from cancer. She really told me to play big, and what that means is to play for something bigger than yourself. And, you know, for me being on this, having such a big platform and on a huge stage, I can really help influence other people. And so, yes, I go out there and I try to win, and that's awesome, but really, I want to influence and inspire young kids and even adults with my story of all the adversity I've handled or gone through and manage on handling. And, you know, it's something that gives you a lot of purpose and meaning in life. And so when I go out there and tee it up this week, it's always a constant reminder. I always have a reminder in my notes or in my yardage book to play big and that I'm doing this for more than just myself and winning tournaments.
Yeah, and that's what makes Wyndham one of my favorite golfers too, is I too have experienced that loss with an older brother and how he's managed that through openness and talking to people. And look, Julie has probably helped, certainly as we saw in full swing with some of that, but also as a sports therapist, your guys' relationship really helped you break through. For an amateur golfer like myself who's learning not to get too frustrated, I mean, you shared in an interview I saw that you said that you had that moment where you let your emotions get the best of you at Oklahoma State. You walked off the course and it was a regrettable moment and you were better for it. I get really frustrated. I'm a 15 index, Wyndham. I've got a lot of work to do. How do you kind of stay within yourself and just play the game and not let those emotions overtake you?
Well, I mean, like you said, I really struggled with it, and I still struggle with it. I was, to be honest, I was pretty pissed off yesterday on the course. I didn't play how I wanted to last week, and yesterday kind of got to a little breaking point. But the great thing is I've learned so much. Is a lot of times when you get to those points where you feel like you're at a breaking point, the only place you can go is up, is you can go up. And you know, so the biggest thing for me is I feel like I've changed my self-talk, and I used to be really negative and I used to focus on the negative, and now I try to replace any negative thought or anything I say with multiple positive thoughts. And so yesterday, for example, I was getting negative, and Julie, my sports psychologist, said, hey, we're done with that. Let's replace it with positive stuff. So all last night I replaced it with great positive imagery, thoughts, whatever, and I came back today and I was a new man. So the biggest thing I would stress is to always think positive thoughts and don't allow those negative thoughts to creep in.
I love that mindset, and I have to ask, as a PGA golf professional, I do get asked all the time about how to get that power. I'm watching you hit your drivers, and I just have so many questions. And so if you could have one tip to the average golfer at home, when you're trying to hit that ball just a little bit further, what do you do with your swing? Just one thing that you can think about.
Okay, well, I'll just show you right here. First thing you do is you tee it a little bit higher, and to hit a really good driver, especially distance, you want to feel like you're hitting a little bit up on it. You know, so often you see amateurs where I feel like they come over the top and they chop down on the ball. So that's one thing. And then for me is I move it, you know, pretty much same ball position, but I maybe start a touch further back on my right foot so that as I take it back, I get a bigger wind up and then I move into the ball. So you know, some guys, like even I just see Max do this sometimes. Some guys will even lift up their left foot to try to get extra turn. And what this does is help you get more on your right side so that you can transfer more energy to the left side. So I don't lift up my foot, but I try to have the sensation of that. So here, I'll try to crank one here where I get a little extra.
Jeez.
I think you got a little extra.
So, yeah, that was pretty nice. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. You guys have the numbers, so I don't know if I did.
The numbers look good over here at PGA Frisco. You look good as always, Wyndham Clark, and that's why a lot of people like you this week, I being one of them. I'm on the record saying that to start this show. Abby agreed as well. So we wish you best of luck. Thank you for being so gracious with your time on a T-Mobile 5G range there. And I know some weather may be coming through, so do the rest of your thing. Best of luck, and we appreciate the time, my friend.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Wyndham Clark, I maybe came out of the gates a little bit strong there with the dub, but I thought we were there. I mean, I had lunch with his brother today. I felt like I was in the circle.
Yeah, you're practically
It's clear I was not in the circle. It's clear I'm not there yet.
I mean, he allowed you to say dub, and I think that was great. I really enjoyed watching that relationship. I feel like you guys are best friends at this point. Are you going to fly out to Valhalla to follow
I think I'm
along?
going to go see if there's a VIP setup. Something tells me I'll be waiting outside with the inability to get in. Let's go back to the range. Luke Donald, the Ryder Cup captain. I mean, how about Luke out there? He's one of those guys, a little bit longer in the tooth, but dangerous. A guy who does have familiarity with this course is one of those guys alluded to just a moment ago by Wyndham. These are guys that creates a sneaky advantage for them, having played here before with that knowledge. The game's not what it used to be, but he's a legend. He's huge. I mean, he's a Ryder Cup captain. He delivered that Ryder Cup championship, and I love how it's documented in full swing, a really cool watch. But these are guys worth watching this week. I truly believe that, and I kind of stumbled upon that, and I kept going back to it's been a decade since it's been at Valhalla. Max hasn't played there. Tony hasn't played there. Wyndham hasn't played there. But Wyndham said a lot of people haven't played here, minus the guys with uber experience. So maybe that's something to lean on with the older guys.
Absolutely. And we have to remember, he is former #1 in the world. He was the greatest golfer on the planet Earth at one point, and having that experience this week, I think, is definitely going to help him. He is one of my favorite swings on tour. I know his swing's gone through a couple changes over the years, but watching him on the driving range, he is super consistent. He's not the tallest guy, he's not a Finau out there, but he does generate a lot of consistency with his swing, and I really look forward to watching him this week. I think it'll be fun to see him out there.
Yeah, again, 156 guys to choose from. People talk about identity of the majors and what's the identity of the PGA Championship. The identity is it's the most talented field that you're going to get in golf. I mean, that is something to boast. It's pretty impressive because as a spectator, you're not getting that anywhere else. So Luke Donald, just one of those, oh yeah, by the way, he could win. He's one of the 156. It's going to be interesting. What was interesting too is we've got a chance to spend a couple of days here together, Abby, and I had some fun. I did have some fun in the PGA of America Coaching Center powered by T-Mobile. It's never fun to be on the beach, but it is fun when you're getting a lesson from you, Abby Parsons, and we did that yesterday. Take a look how that went. I mean, unbelievable.
So what I see from a lot of amateurs in the bunker is the willingness and the want to help the ball in the air by using your body. Ideally, we want to keep our center of gravity right over the golf ball. So the best way to do that is when you set up, you want your weight on your front leg the whole time. So ball position is going to be favoring your front foot, so it's going to be forward in your stance. It's going to be a lot easier to keep that weight forward so you bottom out at the right time. All right, and then as we take it back, once we're up here, we're just going to let gravity do the work. What I see a lot of times is people get a little bit aggressive and go really, really fast with the ball to get it over with. But you have to keep in mind that we love a beach day.
Stuck it. Oh, yeah.
And I see you choke down on the club a good bit. Do you usually do that out of the bunker?
Yes, just out of the bunker.
Okay, you are so tall, so I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of need all the length of the club you can get. There. All right, so the next time you're in the bunker, I want you to remember to put the ball position forward, your weight forward, and never feel like you have to rush down to the golf ball. Feel like the gravity is doing the work and feel the club fall right to the sand. Alrighty, so we put Wyndham on the spot hitting driver and trying to get that extra distance, so might as well put you on the spot.
Yeah, because we're very much the same, Abby. This is sensical.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of want to see what your driver swing looks like first before I give you some of those Wyndham tips. Just to get you, I'll give you a little bit of a warm-up before we try to
Been sitting down for a while here.
Hey, not bad at all. Are you kidding?
We'll take it.
I would take it. Yeah, a little draw there. The draw gets a little bit more distance. But something to keep in mind that Wyndham was talking about was using the ground. Using the ground up is a huge, huge deal when trying to get a little bit more distance. Let me get you another tee here so we can make sure. I'm not going to make you hit driver off the deck. That would be too.
To say, I'm not that sharp.
That would be too mean of me. But Wyndham was talking about the length of his swing and kind of lifting that front heel to get a little bit more distance. And so what that does, that allows for a deeper turn. on the golf course. So when he was giving us those tips for the distance, he was talking about lifting that front heel, allow that lower body to turn a little bit more.
Okay.
Utilizing that ground is super important. So once you're up here, you want to feel like your lower body is doing most of the work to the target and the club is falling behind you. Getting that lag is almost like a whip factor. The ball's going to go a little bit further. So what I'm going to have you do is just try to deepen that turn a little bit, try to lift up that heel that Wyndham was talking about, see if you can get a couple more yards on this one.
Kind of hooked. I mean, kind of snapped a little bit.
Yeah, definitely got a couple more yards to the left.
Yes.
But
yes.
it was a great effort there. Let's get the tee back as well. But how did that feel lifting that heel as you took the club
I feel like the shift of the motion and shifting to the heel is definitely something that feels like a change that would be a sound one to give me that distance. I sped up the swing a little bit more with some nerves, which is something I'm battling being on camera here. But that is definitely something you can feel. It makes it more effortless and allows you to power through that thing.
What I see from a lot of amateurs, and Wyndham kind of talked about this as well, is that they kind of want to use all arms. You feel, I mean, we use our arms all day, we use our hands all day, they control a lot of things, but in reality, once you're setting up at the top, if you could just get your lower body to turn to the target, like I said, you want to feel like the club is falling behind you. The second you get your arms in front of your lower body,
Get too steep.
yeah, and you're going to get those funky misses that we kind of just saw just there. But
I'm feeling good here. Let's give that one more shot.
All righty, please do. I mean, I am pretty inspired after watching Wyndham hit a couple drives.
And
so.
like you said, don't get too down, don't get too high.
Exactly, exactly. We're going to be positive with every shot here. That was pretty good. I mean, it went straight enough. That's in play.
Yeah.
We like that.
I think that's left of the fair. I think you're on. I think that's a fairway hit.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you killed it. I think that was awesome. So I think you should definitely take that onto the golf course the next time you're trying to hit a little bit further. I mean, look at the size of you. People are going to look at you and think, that guy's going to hit the ball far, and you need to show them that you can do that.
Absolutely. That was a scramble.
Well, it's certainly the signature hole here at Valhalla. One thing that I'm trying to do here is hit it about 250, 260, more to the right of the bunkers, to leave myself a nice second shot approach to about 110 yards. I know what I need to hit there. Oh, it's been incredible. I mean, the fans in Louisville, you can tell they have certainly an incredible experience for golf. And I know it's certainly basketball country, but certainly golf is an important piece here in having Valhalla Golf Club. What a special piece of property. Being not far from where I'm from in West Virginia almost feels like a home game for me. So for this shot, we have about 120 yards, a little bit into the wind. So it's gonna play a little bit longer. Pin's hole location is about middle of the green. So playing a little bit longer than 120, winds into us a little bit. So looking at about a 125, 126 shot. Nice. Times when I'm trying to really swing a little bit faster, and certainly in a major, club head speed increases a little bit, heart rate increases a little bit more, so I have a tendency to hit a little bit farther, which is okay. Being 38 years old and working on my dad bod, probably need to cut out the whole dad bod comment, but. There's a lot of hole locations here where I may not even be necessarily aiming for the hole location, aiming to more of the bigger part of the green. So one thing I'll do is I'll chat with my caddy and kind of see what he's seeing and kind of feel it in my feet a little bit, just as far as where the slope is. A lot of it with the green speeds, the way they're going to be, certainly in a major competition, a major event like the PGA Championship, distance control is the most important thing with putting. And for me, it's a lot of it is within the rhythm of my stroke. A lot of times I tend to accelerate the putter head too much, so that really causes an issue as far as distance control. So for this particular putt, we've got about a 15-foot putt here, a little bit up the hill, breaking a little left to right. I'm gonna aim this one just outside the left edge, maybe about a ball out on the left, and hopefully just try to get the speed of the ball just where it falls in the hole. Big thing here is I'm certainly okay with making a 4 here every single round of the tournament, but really committing to my target, and even if it's away from the hole location, that's going to be an important piece, and figuring out the game plan as far as where the hole location is for that day, figuring out the wind. Those are really important pieces when we're playing this hole, number 13 here at Valhalla.
Alrighty, so we just hit some drives, and I'm gonna make
I got the nerves out.
Yeah,
Abby,
nerves.
I feel good here.
And now we're actually gonna go to wedges. Okay, so we learned a lot from the tour players that we got to speak to. Obviously, Max is kind of known for his wedge wizardry, but I'm gonna kind of combine a couple things. So Finau talked about sequence, which is really important, and then Homa obviously was talking about the wedges. So here, what we're gonna focus on is making sure that we're not moving too much over a wedge. What I see a lot from amateurs is that we have a shorter club in our hand, and I see a lot of movement away from the golf ball, so it doesn't create a lot of consistency.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the challenges for an amateur is there's different swings. I mean, because you're taught with a driver, get out, sweep through it, a nice slow tempo swing, and so I almost take that to every swing on the course, but that's not what I'm supposed to do, clearly.
Correct, yeah. So with the wedge, we're going to try to stay a little bit more over the ball.
Okay.
So Max was kind of talking about a little bit with his setup with the stinger earlier that we can almost take into this as well. So if we're trying to hit a half swing wedge, he was talking about his different distances with his wedge, and so say we're going to hit this one half, like half your normal distance. So I'm going to have you set up to the ball normally.
I'm right here.
All right, perfect. And so I'm gonna have you put your feet a little closer together. That's gonna allow you to not move too much away from the ball. And since we're not doing a full swing, we're almost gonna preset our weight transfer. So try to keep that weight a little bit more on that front side throughout this swing. And I'm just gonna have you do a nice little halfway back, halfway through. Oh yeah.
Pretty good with my, I got a 55.
Yeah.
Pretty good with my 55.
That's a good club to be good at. So as we learned from Max and kind of what Tony was talking about with the sequence. So the sequence of the golf swing is the upper body initiates the backswing and the lower body follows it. And so on the way down, it's the opposite, kind of what we talked about with Wyndham and the driver. The lower body leads the downswing. So with our wedge here, like I said, we're not trying to move too much though. So that's why we load that weight on that front side. So now try to do a 3/4 swing with this preset. Good. There you go. Got a little more height on that one too.
Yeah.
Very nice. And then from here, if we're gonna do a full wedge, a full 55 degree, you don't have to load too much weight on that front side. You can allow for a little bit more movement with this one. So set up normally to this one, and I want you to feel like you're going the same distance back and the same distance through.
Now, how far do you want? 3/4?
Yeah, we could do 3/4. Look at that.
Come on, Abby.
That was pretty darn good.
Come on, Abby.
Did you say you were 15? I think we can drop that a couple already.
I would love to drop that.
Yeah.
Can I keep you for a few hours afterwards here?
Absolutely, absolutely, anytime. So I mean, we're in the perfect place to do it here at PGA Frisco. This doesn't suck, right? So
This does not.
I just had you do a 3/4 wedge, and it's almost like a pop quiz. I'm gonna have you do a half swing again, and just remember the tips I told you earlier. What we do
Keep it in
differently
front,
with our stance.
Feet close, a little
Yep,
bit more
feet
over.
closer together, less for less movement. There you go. Oh, he's dialed.
Dialed.
He's dialed. Is there
Feeling
another
good.
spot at Valhalla available for you to
I know,
tee it up,
seriously.
or-
Hey, I'm not quite a PGA of America golf professional, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
That is awesome.
Well, I will tell you, Abby Parsons, this has been incredible. To be able to work with a PGA of America golf professional, have the time we spend here, no better place to spend it than PGA Frisco. I mean, take a look at this out here. This is really living, and we got to thank our friends at T-Mobile, of course, our incredible team at PGA of America, PGA Frisco, the weather looking out for us. It's going to be a great week in Louisville, Kentucky, and Valhalla. And unfortunately, we got to say goodbye for now. But a massive thank you. Incredible stuff going on here in Frisco, Texas. Great people. It's golf. Can't beat this. So make sure you get out here to PGA Frisco. Thanks again, everybody. Enjoy a great week of golf. We crown a champion come Sunday.
We should go to the range now. I think we should.